system is all about. And it is a complex whole. Because when you are looking at procedure and a protocol, in which a principles and procedure, in order to achieve something, and this thing should come out with result, my dear, it takes brain. It is complex to create a system. And so because we do not know that, we began to, take our mind off the real thing and going and looking at other things. Now, let me tell you the truth. The first thing that God did when he created the world was that he created a man and a woman after his like, his kind, after his image, that they may look like him, that they may have dominion, that they may prosper, they may take charge of the world, and also bring forth children. That is the system. So in other words, the man and the woman come together, they get married, and they bring children that also look like God. That is what is meant. That is the only system God created. Nothing more. So when he created the world, he now created a system that can counter the world. In case anything come contrary, there is a system that can fix it. And God gets to rest. But now, we are faced with a big problem because the foundation upon which God created the system has been altered. It has been cancelled. And now there's a big problem. So for you to be able to create a family system that can counter the world, you need to go back to the foundation. And that is what my husband and I project is all about. Creating a system that can counter the world. A family that can stand and say, yes, this is it. Because principles only grow and change according to the procedures in which they put. But in this part of the world where we live, do you know what? One of the most difficult things to achieve is creating a system. Now, let me tell you what a system is. It's like a plane is about to take off at 3 p.m. All passengers are dressed, set with their seatbelt, and they're in the plane. And they said that by 3 p.m., this plane must be on the runway. The control tower have been alerted. And then the people at the landing, airport are also set their machinery. Then, now this is how Africa think. The president now said that he needs to travel. No. You know that plane will be grounded and that system disorganized. Because the people in the control tower will now have to start resetting, the airport in such a way that no plane lands so that there won't be disaster. The people at the other end that have stopped some plane from landing because this one was supposed to land in 1 hour now have to go back and start reconfiguring a system. And you know what it will do? Cost money to businessmen. Cost so many damages in just that 1 hour. And unfortunately for us, this is where Africa found herself. You know why? They only stopped that system because we used the emotion, not principle. Principle said even if the president is coming or not, this plane must take off. But emotion said because he's the president, it has to be grounded. And so now, we want to create a family whereby we said, this is how it should be. So no matter the purple, the white, the red, the yellow that comes to mix with it, the color, the main ingredient is there and it is not changing. And until we get to that, my dear, our children are in trouble. So the first thing you need to do in creating a system is to create a base, a foundation. Because you can't build a house without creating digging the right foundation. The reason why you came late today, I was telling them earlier, you know why? It's because of your foundation. Not because you wanted to, I tell you, and you get to know that later, just shortly. The reason why we are taking this program a bit late, foundation. So now, we need to correct the foundation. Now, the first foundation we need to do is, can I have 3 men now? Can I have just 3 men now? Come up, please. I just need you to help me here. Just 3 men. See the foundation. Yeah, come. The first foundation you need to create. Ask, man of God, please, let me get somebody else. Okay. Thank you, sir. Now, do you know what? This 3 system here is a husband to 1 woman. These 3. But if you don't know how to create a system out of it, Which is the reason why you are complaining your husband is wicked. He's cheating on you. Your wife is useless. She's disrespectful. She's not doing. It's just the system, the foundation you've not been able to. The first system you need to do is to create a foundation. By first, separate the man. Number 2, the male. Number 3, the husband. If you don't separate the man from the male and the husband, you have a disfigured and dysfunctional system. Because the foundation that God created, the Bible says first, he created the man in his likeness and his image. So this one is the duplicate copy of God, Jesus-centered. Anything outside the Spirit of God, it can't fit in. So the principle that controls this is purely 150% God. Then this male is formed by the biological precedent that bring this to the world. The male came out because the father and mother male got married and brought the male child. Do you know that God also created a male? The Bible says he created them in his likeness and created them male and female. So he also created his male. Now, after the male, he formed the wife, the husband, which is Adam, and the wife, which is Eve. So God actually created a system like this. But where we are having problem now is that the man created, get married and you've been married, staying to this man you called your husband without knowing that the foundation upon which this man is standing does not resemble its original. Now, this male also, which is one of the most damaging part system, is that is formed by belief system. So there are belief systems that say that this is how a male should be. There is a belief system that says this is how a female should be. Culture has, brought this man into being your husband. So first thing is that there's a clash between the spirit and the man. So the male and the man started fighting already. Before they met you, they'll be fighting. You, without you knowing it, you now carry husband. The husband here, you know what the husband does? His role. That's what he plays. So this one is a spirit man. This one is a person. And this is a role. So these three now make that man that you're married to. So because you don't even understand, most of the time, you are fighting a role that is dysfunctional already as a personality. So you are complaining that your husband is cheating. He's not cheating, no. There is a disfigured system here that you have not visited. And it can't be fixed by you. So the only thing and person that can fix this is this man. When this man realized that he is in the image of Christ, so not you. So trying to change your husband, you're wasting your time. Trying to change your wife, you're wasting your time. Because the only person that can change is this man going back to the change that was disfigured, refigure himself by default and say that I am the image and likeness of God. So every personality I bring out is the image and personality of God. And every role I play is the role of a personality of God. So it is not in your place to change the man, to change the woman. And so because we have not been able to identify this, we have many people who have died out of marriage. Some people are managing it not because it is sweet. You are enduring it because of your children. The children that you are bringing that are dysfunctional, you are managing that marriage Because of status. What do people say? Let me just stay here. Instead of divorce. I've lost so many that endured marriage because they were afraid of what people say, afraid of stigma, and they died of emotional breakdown, emotional abuse, physical abuse. Both the men and the women are in it. So now, after understanding the foundation, there are 3 basic principles that you need to build your system on. And the first is called identity. Now, this is where the problem is, like I told you. Who are you? Take 1 minute back and think now. Who are you? Who is your mother? Who was your mother? A woman that was abused. Okay, let's start from your father. Just take back your mind and walk with me on this journey. Who was your father? A drunk, absentee father, abusing your mother. A man that was never available. A man that had issues. A father that never was available, was around, but never available. A father that could not play the role of God's image in your life. Then, number 2, what environment did you grow up? Poor, rich, abusive, violent, or heaven on earth. Now, because this one is really your identity, where you are coming from, before you get to this, there's already a dysfunctional man that grew up, knowing himself as a man who is a son of this man, but never know himself as a man who is after the image and likeness of God. And the same thing goes to the female factor. So this man grew up knowing himself only by the name of his father's son. And so because this is the image and identity that he has been presented to, he did not realize that inside this man, who is the son of this, is a hidden trauma that has created this man instead of a man after God's heart. Inside this man is a hidden, life experience that brings an invisible maltreatment into his life. So every response and action of the personality he's bringing as a man is as a result of the trauma and the things that he has, the belief system now, the philosophy, the culture, the identity that has baited him. Do you know that your father came home in the night and you went to play with your friends outside in the dark, and your mother was concerned because she was afraid that let nothing happen to her son? You know why? Every mother replaces her first son with her husband who is never available. So the reason why she was protecting that son is because there is a vacuum created by her husband, which the son feels apart from sex. So when she was getting angry, saying, wow, oh please, oh, don't worry, make sure you come, make sure nothing happens to you, the mother was, saying that from a point of fear and a supplement for her disorganized abuse emotion. So she wasn't saying that from the point of your true identity. Then the father now came. Why are you stopping this boy? If you come, don't you know that you're a man? Men are supposed to be at home by this time. Men are supposed to do it. In fact, he's crying and coming home that he was beaten and injured. What should the father do? Is it not to heal that injury? But the father will rather create a trauma. You are useless. What's wrong with you? Are you a weakling? You don't know who is your father. When they beat you next time, give them uppercut. Give them 5 cuts. Now, Do you know that that pain inflicted was never healed? It was never healed. So it has created an invisible trauma that is now growing and making this man that anytime people try to come against you, your wife, anybody, give back a defense. And this is the personality he comes up with. So now, the wife now married the husband with this personality. And she wants a role of a protective, romantic, and they have told this man that you don't protect with emotion. You only protect by violence. And so it's disorganized system baited a lot of us, including this woman talking to you. My father was very much around, but never available. But I did not know. So he's been around, complimented me, and gave me an impression that I have a father that was there. He wasn't there. And I grew up from a polygamous home. So my mother was abused emotionally because other women had come into her marriage that was meant to be her. So her personality was disfigured. So she used to tell us, don't go out. Don't have friends. Don't do this. So it formed the personality of me. Now this is a belief system that said that if you don't go out, you are not audacious. You don't talk. You're a decent girl. But do you know that shut your mouth from bringing out your hidden real purpose, which you are. So I grew up with a voice not being heard. Now I married a husband that want to bring me out. I felt, why would you bring me out when I am supposed to be quiet? But I have already been dysfunctional before I enter his life. So it was not him that was my problem. My roots was my problem. So before you complain that your husband is cheating on you, there are so many hidden trauma. That, do you know the thing about this hidden trauma? Time will not permit me. When you come from my coaching system, I break it to the lowest molecule. And when you extract yourself, you will be so shocked. Because you know that some hidden trauma, man of God, even you cannot identify it. So what it does is that it silently maltreats you without you knowing it. So ask yourself, why are you restless? Ask yourself, why do you do things for people to approve? Ask yourself, why do you get so high when people clap for you? Ask yourself, why do you give to feel loved? Do you know why? When you were growing up as a boy, they tell you that as a son, it is your responsibility to take care of every other person. So what they taught you about love is that give. Even when it's damaging you, give. Even when the people you are giving to are not responsible, give. So you were just giving and damaging and being maltreated silently without you knowing it. And they now tell you that as a woman, it is your duty to protect your younger ones, your family. So you start protecting. So you forgot completely. So now you get into the marriage. The man is feeling being not validated by you. Because where you are coming from as a wife, the role you know is protective. And he gives love. So he tries to give you, and you cannot understand. You start reacting to it negatively. Now there is a trauma going on silently that he doesn't even know. There's a damage in him that he doesn't know. There's a pattern, a system disfigured that he doesn't even know. The next thing, he starts running away from you. And now, what they told him is, give. Give. When your younger ones are crying, make them. So anybody around you that needs, emotion, give. Because the reason why they were pushing you to give is to pamper the emotion of your siblings. Before you know it, the wrong people are in your life, but they're like siblings to you. And they started giving that emotion. And you start giving. And the next thing, your wife is saying, my husband is cheating on me. And the more you are feeling that, the more you are running away. And the more you are running away, the more she's feeling unprotected. And because she feels unprotected, there's a lot of chaos. And what happened is that they look so okay, but the system is faulty. And the most painful part of it, the same way I felt that I had a good family, not knowing there were damages around it, I also brought out children that I transferred my trauma to them silently, because it's a pattern, it's a system. And if I don't control it, my children will transfer to the next one, to the next one. And that is why it seems that the world is stronger than us. The thing is very simple. We refused to know who we are. And let me tell you the most painful part of this.